Hello and welcome to Daz Studio, and this is a showcase of a script I've been working on. So actually it's three scripts, but we'll mostly look at the second one here, the magic pointer. And this script is designed to help you animate and, more importantly, pose things. How it works is it's simple. Basically, when you're in the universal tool, you can move the hand and it will move everything, and it's a pain. So we end up always locking stuff. So here we select the shoulder, for instance, and pin the translation, and then we try again, and now it works. And once we are done with that, we need to click on the shoulder and unpin it. It's, quite frankly, it's a pain. So I designed a script to go around this limitation, and it relies heavily on the point at feature. If you don't know what it is, essentially it's in the parameters tab. Let me find it. In the constraints, you can point at something. For instance, you can point at a null. There is a functionality that exists, lets you point at an item. So for example, we're going to point at for the upper arm. I'm just describing you how it is used right now in Daz Studio. This creates a null. This null is back at the origin, so we need to move it somewhere that is a bit more practical. And then we need to click on the bone that we want to point at the null, click on the property point at, then select the null, click accept, and now we have an arm that points at this null. And we need to select the null in the viewport or in the list, and then we can move it around and the arm will point at it. Once we're done, well, we have to keep the null in place in the scene, because if we delete it, let me show it, the arm will go back to its position. If you want an easier time creating your nulls, there are options in Daz Studio. So you can create your null, let's call it target. But these options are not really all that great. You can pick target new null with selected item, and then the arm will target the null, but the null will still be back there. So you will have to pull it back into the field of view and there. And of course, at the end of the day, it's the same problem. You cannot bake it back, so you have to delete it. So I designed a script that is very smart. First, it will automatically create and name the point at target, the null. It will automatically set the point at property, and then it will automatically position the null where we want it. So it's used exactly as you'd expect. You click on the left upper arm, go to script, select the magic pointer. I have it bound to F3, and it will automatically create a target exactly in the line that the bone was. So you can move it directly with absolutely no hassle at all, and it will not move the rest of the body, and you can select exactly how you want it to be. Okay, so once you're done with it, you can delete it, and then the arm will go back to its original position. But you can go one step further, so we recreate it, position our null here, and then we use the same script again, magic pointer script, and it will detect that we are selecting a null target, and it will bake back the rotation to the bone. So, and of course there are absolutely no other side effects, except it created two main nodes that you can delete at any time. They will be recreated automatically, as we will see right now. So right now, this is a very powerful tool. We can use key binding. So I set it to F3, and then we can perfectly use it as often as we want, and it will create the null, delete the null, and bake it back. And we can do that. Select the bone, move it, bake it, select the bone, move it, bake it. Okay? And oops. There, I just made a mistake. I selected the wing by accident. Okay? So now I don't know exactly where is the null for the shin. The script is smart enough that when you use it on a bone that already has a target, it will automatically find the target and select it without creating a new one. So that is pretty neat. Now we bake it back, and now there are absolutely no null left in here. The bone is not pointing at anything. It's completely transparent. So what else can we do? We can Control Z everything to undo. There undid the baking of the thing, so it still looks at it. Now I undid the movement and did the movement. Here I don't know what I undid. Well, we can undo pretty much everything. There, we're back with the null that was used here. Okay. So, of course, from there you have some other features that can be enabled. For example, you can create multiple targets at once. So let me just zoom in so we can see. Now I have selected the upper arm, the forearm, and the hand, and I press F3, and it will create 3 nulls and group them inside a target group and select the target group. And now I can move all 3 nulls at once. All right, this is fine. This is good. We don't know exactly what to do with it yet, but I'm sure we can find some use for it. It allows you very, very natural movement, smooth movement, because you're moving. It's like a gesture. You're moving several limbs at the same time, and it will try to have everyone point at it. You can also select one of the null individually. For example, the upper arm must not be in the same alignment with the rest, so we select it and pull it back, and the rest of the arm will keep looking forward. And now we can select the group again and move every null at the same time, or even rotate the null to achieve another effect, or shrink it, or expand it. We can do all sorts of things with this. And of course, if we bake back the group, it will bake everything back. There. Good. Exactly like we left it. That is, frankly, the most exciting thing I can think of for this. For example, I can select all 4 bones of the spine, press F3, it will automatically create a target above the spine, because it detected that the spine was pointing upwards. It created a group because we selected 4 bones, and now we can have the entire group, move it left, right, or we can, let me select the right handle. This one is the right handle. We can select it and bend it forward and or backward, and it will bend all the bones so that they will face in the right direction. And we can also rotate it. Maybe that's a better way to handle this movement or to perfect this pose. If you want the body to be a bit less stiff, you can rotate it, and you can scale it and rotate it again. And now we have some very nice pose that you can do to the spine, and it all comes very naturally. And if you're unsure what you want to do, if you don't want to keep it that way, you can delete the target group and it will reset back to its original position. Of course, it works with the eyes. Let me just zoom in to select the other one there. And it's as easy as just pressing F3, and we now have a target to look at, for the eyes to look at. Okay, and if we zoom in, the targets become closer to one another, and we can have our little pixie cross-eye on her knee, on her nose, sorry. Or we can move it backward and have her face be a bit cross-eyed on the other direction. All right, so that's the first tool, and it's absolutely awesome. The one thing it can do is it works with pretty much anything. You have wings here that are not part of the main body. You can select 2 of those, create a target, and then move them, and you can position them exactly how you'd like. You can rotate them, you can do whatever you want, or select them individually and say this one should be down, and then this one should be a bit back. Works well. And another use that is very useful is with some of the hair that has a lot of subbones, subdivisions. You can select children, deselect the first one, the head, because we only want the bones of the hair, and create a gigantic something to control every hair at the same time, and have them go backwards or have them a bit more of a fluffy look. Now her hair looking in every direction. It's quite useful, and we can bake it, and now she has a whole new hairstyle. And that's pretty much it for the first smart action. When you use the magic pointer action on something like the neck or the head, you press F3 and then you get your targets and you move your targets, but you realize that it's not doing what you'd expect. It cannot be used to turn the head left and right. It can only move it forward, lean forward, backward, or tilt it left and right. So that's something that I try to solve, and there are several ways to deal with that problem in Daz Studio. One of these is a long and complicated process. You basically need to create a new node and bind the twist and bend properties, create an ERC link, and add the rotation of the... It's complex. So I just made a I made a button for that. It's called Magic Twister. You use it on the head and it creates two nulls, positions them exactly how they should be, almost exactly, maybe there is a bug. And now you can create a pointer target for the controller, move it, and voila, it just does the job. And that is basically it. Of course, you can create multiple controllers, one for the head, another one for the neck, and another one for the rest of the neck. Now you have the 3 controllers for twist and bend. You can create a target for this. And now you have a smooth, something that should be smooth, movement of both the head and the neck. And if you want to get this extra spicy, you can add the eyes to that. So let me just delete it. Left eye, right eye, controllers, create. And now, once we get, now she tries to look back, and at some point she will probably have might have issues at some point. But that's basically it. And once we are happy, we bake it back. And of course, the controllers, if you want to bake them back, you can press F4 again, magic twisting, and bake them back. And now you have a pose that is, and a scene that is completely clean. So this method is absolutely compatible with any other method that you want to use to do your posing. It's just something you can use on top, and it's just glorious. You can make your own little devices. For instance, if I want the entire body, the entire spine to be controlled with these controllers, we can do that. And now we have something to have the entire body move left or right, up and down. And we can adjust it however we like and bake it back. Of course, you can also do more brute forcey or complex things. For example, it's possible that Daz will crash, but I don't think so. Here I almost selected all the bones in the body. And let's create a target. It will take a moment, but he will basically create a lookup target for all the bones in the body. And put them all in a single container. And this is something I don't think exists right now in Daz. You can simulate whatever you want. Here, I also selected all the faces in the facial bones in the body, so it's a bit of a mess. But you can pretty much, if you want to animate the entire body with a single, if you want to do something like a gravitational pull or something, you can do some pretty unique stuff with it. And of course you can all cancel, all delete whenever you want. And another use. That's pretty much it for this video, I think. I will go back to another. So I was working on a pose using all those nulls. I have quite a few of them active right now, but I can always bake them or do something with them. I'm not quite sure, but I just wanted to illustrate how useful it could be. For example, here I like her to grab the hoop, and of course we don't have many options for the fingers. We can either select every one of them individually, and it's a bit of a pain. Select it and bend it and so on, and you have to do it bone by bone, and frankly it's too much for me. So here's how I would do it. I would just make a multiple selection for the first bones, make a target for them, again another one for the second bones, and the last one for the third bones. Now I have a target group for the index, and I will just position them just so where we think it should be. So these ones should be in the middle of directed toward the middle of the hoop. The second ones should be maybe aiming below. It's about right. And the last ones, they should be aiming this way. And now it's a bit easier to adjust. I need to select the hand and maybe move it sideways. I'm not sure I can. I can, because it has a target, but there. So now we only have a slight issue with the pinky. So let's move it above. Okay, and we want the pinkies to be closer together or wider. What looks better? This looks better. And these ones we want it to be maybe closer, maybe pointing away. Okay, and the last one, we want it, the last pinky has a problem. We'll just move it out of the way. There. Perfect. Almost perfect. And if you want to see how it looks like, it should look something like this. So there you go.